and to get together in this month, which is a month of yearning, which is called in the Sfarim the Yemei Ratzon, days full of longing and yearning. To try to do a little bit of that together now, through song, through learning a little bit. We learn, we yearn, we sing, we dance, and we try to let Hashem into our lives. That's the whole focus of what we're going to be, with Hashem's help, very successful in accomplishing tonight. So thank you all for being here. And it's very important to just remind everybody that it's not a concert, it's participatory. We need everybody joining with all of your heart and all of your soul. So please join me. Mean to you, Elecha, to you, Hashem Ekr, I call to you, Ve'el Hashem Eschanu, and to God, I supplicate, I pray. That's what it means on a simple level. And it could be referring to anything that a person is longing for, davening for, praying for. But a deeper understanding is that the words Elecha and Ve'el, or El Hashem, aren't just speaking about to whom we are ekra, to whom we are calling, to whom we are eschanun, praying. But rather, those words actually capture the very essence of what it is that we're always davening for. Elecha Hashem ekra. Not, I call out to you. But what I'm trying to scream out to the Master of Heaven and Earth, to the Creator, about is Elecha. I want to be close to you. That is the prayer. Elecha Hashem Ekra. Hashem, I call out, Elecha, carry me to you. Eschanan, I pray, El Hashem Eschanan. That is the content of our prayer. El Hashem. That's all we want. In this month of Elul, Ani L'Dodi, V'Dodi Li. This is our prayer. And the Gemara tells us, Ritzoneinu lasos ritzonecha, that our deepest yearning is lasos ritzonecha, is to align our will with the will of the divine. And that means to say that really anything that we look for in life, all the pleasures, all the different things that we're after, the motivations that we have, the ambitions that drive us, at the core of it really is a neshama that only wants one thing, that only wants a relationship with the divine. That's what really we want. Underneath all the other things that we think we want, that's what we're yearning for. And therefore, nothing else will do. It's the only place where we will feel satisfied in the end. So let's sing it again with this intention, that Elecha is our prayer, El Hashem is our tefillah. And let's call out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who's real, and who's so excited about us getting together to think about Him, and to sing about Him, and to connect with Him. Amen. Your voices as and it stood by us. Labeseinu for our forefathers, Velanu, and in our generation, Shaloi Echad Bilvad Amar Aleinu L'Chaloseinu, that it wasn't just one nation throughout our long and glorious and storied, shining history that stood against us. But in each generation, we face formidable mortal enemies. And the Master of Heaven and Earth saves us, will save us from their hands. This is what it means on a simple level. Listen carefully to this Sfas Emes. The Holy Sfas Emes says the most incredible thing. He says these words, Shaloi Echad Bilvad Amar Aleinu L'Chaloseinu, on a simple level means, don't think it was just one nation at one moment in our history that stood against us. That's what it means on a simple level. And it carries on saying, no. In every generation, they tried to get us. And God saved us. He says it's much deeper. He said, you know what's Oimdim Aleinu L'Chaloseinu? You know what actually threatens our very existence as a nation? Bilvad. There's only one thing that's Oimdim Aleinu L'Chaloseinu. One thing Bilvad, one thing alone. And that is Shelo Echad. When we are not one, when we are not in unity together, Shelo Echad, when we are not in unity, Bilvad Amar Aleinu L'Chaloseinu. Only this is what really threatens us. Because when we're together, strong, which means not just on a simple level, okay, I could tolerate somebody who looks different than me, speaks different than me, serves God different than I do. No. That's not real peace. That's maybe this modern idea of coexistence, two-state solution. This is not peace. It's not. Peace means when I start to realize that at the core of what Nishmas Yisrael is, of what the Jewish nation are, we are really one. We are really one. Every single one of us in this room, bodies sitting in chairs, are containers for the singular spirit of the collective soul of the Jewish nation. I have it in me, you have it in you, you have it in you, and so on, identically. Peace is not something we have to achieve from the outside. Okay, we should have achdus, okay, everybody will get together, and peace is the realization that we are already one. We're unified as a nation sent from a completely different place down into this world for a mission. To be a light unto the nations in Ar Lagoyim. And that's all we are. And each of us have our own lives, we have our own past, and our own present, our own future, our own circumstances, our own challenges, our own talents, ambitions, dreams. And each of us is going to reveal that same light in a unique way that no Jew before you ever could, no Jew after you until Mashiach comes ever will. But at the core, it's one thing. We're all in this together. We're all in this world together as one unit. So as we sing this song now, it's a song that you've sung millions of times. But let's try, if we can, to have this kavanah, this intention, as we say the words, Shelo echad bilvad. That's what threatens us. So we have to try to get a higher set of eyes to see when we look at a Jew, not the outside, how they're dressed, what shul they daven in, what their affiliation is, no. To see the neshama, then we can heal the world together. Join me. the issue is, Shelo echad bilvad amad aleinu l'chal oseinu. That thing alone is threatening our existence, which is Shelo echad. That we haven't managed to identify our essential unity. So we could understand the high part, which is what saves us from that mentality? What saves us from the mentality that sees other people only on an external level, with this worldly eyes as opposed to much higher eyes that see a much deeper reality, is identifying the godliness within each and every person. You know, the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, I'm sure all of us are familiar with this. The Mishnah tells us, Al tadin es chavercha, do not judge another Jew, ad shetagia lemekomo, which is, again, simply translated, until you stand in their place. And what that means at a very basic level is that it's impossible to really judge somebody unless you know what they're going through. Because every decision that a person makes is contextualized by so many different circumstances, factors, that unless you've experienced those, it's really difficult to understand what motivates another human. And more often than not, angry people are just hurt people. People that are acting in ways that seem on the outside very difficult to understand. Once you actually get into the psyche, you're able to track it back to the root. Where's this thing coming from? It becomes more understandable. That's what it means on a simple level, but I saw in a sefer, he says one of the terminologies that we use to refer to the Master of Heaven and Earth, to God, the Creator, is the word hamakom. Makom is one of the ways that we refer to Hashem. For example, Seder night, Baruch hamakom baruch hu. Should never know from such a thing. If a person has to sit Shiva, what are we saying? Hamakom inachim eschem. We refer to God as Makom, and the Medrash tells us that this name refers to the way in which God is referred to as the Mekomo Shel Olam, the place of existence. Not the physical space within which existence exists, because God is not physical in any way, shape, or form, even in the most ethereal sense of the realm or dimension of space, even that's physical. But God is the conceptual space. Just like the space around a thing is theoretically what enables it to be. Otherwise, you couldn't imagine this cup of water without there being space to afford it the capacity to exist. God is the conceptual space for all of existence. If you're interested in reading more on this idea, you can see the third gate in the Sefer Nefesh and Chaim. From Reb Chaim of Volozhin, and the whole gate there is founded on this idea of God being the space of existence, very deep. So if this is how we refer to Hashem, then maybe we could understand the Mishnah in a much deeper way. Al tadin es chavercha, don't judge another Jew, ad shetagia, until you can identify within them mikomo. Ad shetagia limikomo. Not until you experience their circumstances, stand in their place, but until, in assessing that human being, you're able to reach ad shetagia limikomo, to the spark of the mikomo shel olam, to the spark of divinity that they contain inside of them. When you remember how essentially holy every single Jew is, every single human is in a certain sense, every single conscious human being, Tzelem Elohim, is shining. And it's just that as we go through life, a little bit dust gets on the surface. So we judge people based on the outside. But the Mishnah is telling us, look deeper, look deeper, look deeper. You know, it's brought in halacha that when a person is saying Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, when they get to the word Echad, a person should elongate the Daled, which parenthetically is a difficult thing to do in our way of pronouncing the Daled, because you can't stretch out the Daled, right? When you make the sound of the Daled, it's just Echad. You know, so people say de, but that's not really it. So a Rebbe of mine told me that the Teimanim actually have like the Yemenite Jews have a much more exact Masorah, a tradition with regard to how to pronounce letters, And they actually pronounce that letter Dalet as a the sound. So they can stretch out the Dalet because they say Echav, and they just sort of buzz it out for a couple of seconds. So anyway, just an interesting thing. But the way that you colloquially, classically hear Jews pronouncing this word is Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, right? And try to stretch out the Dalet. So there was once a Jew who came to sit by the Pesach Seder of Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev. It was called the defense attorney of the Jewish nation. He only knew how to see the godliness in every person. I bless you and me that we should see ourselves the way that the Berdichever would have seen us. We should see ourselves, mamish, for who we really are. So all different kinds of Jews would come to the Berdichever's meal. He was the most non-judgmental person in the world, so everybody felt comfortable there. And there was once a Jew who came to this Pesach Seder one year. He was what we would literally refer to as an Am Ha'aretz. He knew nothing. He was just really completely illiterate, ignorant, didn't know which way to hold the Haggadah. He didn't know the basics. But when they came to the section, the Haggadah, of the Arba Banim, of the 4 children, the Chacham, the Rasha, the Tam, the She'eni, the Elishal, these 4 sons, right? 4 different kinds of children. The wise one, the wicked one, simpleton, the one who doesn't know how to ask. So the words in the Haggadah that introduce these children, introduce them with Echad Chacham, Echad Rasha, Echad Tam, Ve'echad She'eni Elishal. And when it came time for everyone to read this bit of the Haggadah, this simple Jew doesn't know better, See, he was taught as a child that when you say Shema, you say Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu. Here, O Israel, God is our God. Hashem Echad, That's how he was taught to say it. So he stands up all proud with his Haggadah, and he covers his eyes with his right hand, and he goes, Echad Chacham, Echad Rasha. Like he's saying Shema, so it's silly because what shaykhs just happens to be the same word, and everyone's laughing because it's like a bit of a spectacle, it's a bit silly. And the Berdichever stops them. And he says, you people think that this Jew is just so, simple and ignorant, that this is why he's saying it this way. He says, no. He says, this Jew is so deep that when he sees 4 different kinds of Jews that represent all different kinds of Yidden throughout history, and all different communities and affiliations, and different kinds of shuls, and different kinds of kippot, and different kinds of everything. When he sees a chacham, a rasha, a tam, a she'eni yadei lish'al, he right away sees the godliness within them. He sees the Hashem Echad Chacham. He sees the Hashem Echad from Shema. God is one in the Chacham. God is one in the Rasha. God is one in the Tam. Echad she'eni yadei lish'al. He has reached Ad Shetagia Limakomo. And once a person lives life in such a way, where we look at the human being and we understand it's not a simple thing. Human being is the divine image. And to be able to see that in another person, then we're spared the great threat of the Lo Echad Bilvad that stands against us, Chas v'Shalom, to threaten us. So let's sing this song one more time, with this intention now for the high part, for the second part of the song. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Matzilenu Miyado. Only finding the godliness in another Jew can save us from this terrible threat. Let's have all of our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael in mind and heart. Let's pray for them. Let's be one with them. Let's hope they're praying for us too, because we also need it. Let's be strong. Let's go. Used to tell a story. He would go all the time to Eretz Yisrael. He would meet tons and tons of people. Different kinds of Jews. People would come to speak to him. And one time, a father brought his son, already for years had not been religious at all, no connection to Yiddishkeit, no connection to Yahadus, to Judaism, nothing. In fact, his hatred for Judaism had grown so incredibly strong that he refused to walk into the house that he had been brought up in, his parents' house, because right there when he walked into the house, hanging on the wall was a picture of his great-great-great-grandfather. It was a Jew back in Poland, the long beard, pez, black yarmulke, long frock. And he was so ashamed that he descends from what he assumed were terrible fools and backward, archaic people. He couldn't even bear the thought of walking into his house all the while that he had to look at that picture. Couldn't handle it. He demanded that his parents take the picture down. Obviously, they would hear of no such thing. It's their Zayda, it's their grandfather. But he wouldn't walk into the home at all. So the father brought this person to Shlomo, tried to speak a little bit to him, help him work out his issues. What are the blockages that are holding him back? And he couldn't get through, at all. He wouldn't hear it. He didn't want to hear anything. Okay, a few years pass. And in the early 70s, Shlomo goes back to Eretz Yisrael on a trip, and he's doing some kind of concert somewhere in one of the yeshuvim. And a Jew bounds over to him, huge smile on his face. Also payas, yarmulke. And he looks at Shlomo with shining eyes. He says, "Do you remember me?" He's looking at him. He says, "I'm so sorry. I don't think I've ever met you in my life." He says, "Don't you remember one time, a couple of years back, there was a father who brought his son who couldn't bear to walk into the house all the while that his religious grandfather's picture was on the wall?" He said, "Yeah, it's a strange story." He says, "That's me. That was me." Like a 180, a complete transformation. So obviously there's a story here. So Shlomo says, "Now tell me, what happened in your life since we've last spoken?" He tells him, "Listen, the 67 war," he says, "I was called up, I was enlisted into the Tzahal, and I was a tankist. I was driving a tank. We were down in Sinai, the Sinai desert, and all of a sudden, from behind, it was clear that we were being pursued by an Egyptian tank. Mamish hot on our trail. So obviously, he says, we're trying to run away, trying to, get to safety, a place where we're protected, a place where we had other positions behind a mountain, or a range of mountains. And obviously, he says the closest point, between one place and another is a straight line. So they floor it, and he's pedal to the metal, and the tank is behind him, coming into range, shooting range, and they're driving as fast as a tank could possibly go, in a straight line to the mountain range where they need to get. And all of a sudden, he tells Shlomo, all of a sudden he's looking, because he's driving the tank, all of a sudden he sees, standing right in his way, is an Orthodox Jew. It's an old man with beard and payas, with a talis and tefillin. And he's davening shachris in the middle of the Sinai desert. Like in the middle of an active war zone. And he thought to himself, as he's getting closer and closer, he's driving this tank as fast as the tank could possibly drive. He said, he tells Shlomo, he says that my first thought was to just run him over. Like, how stupid can you get? He says, I always knew these Jews were stupid, like these religious people. He's standing in a battlefield, in the middle of the desert, talis and tefillin. Like, was he out of his mind? What's he thinking? But then he says, Saf HaKol, he says, I'm fighting on behalf of the Jewish state. He's not going to run over another Jew. So he pulls the tank around this person, last minute, turns the I don't know if it's a steering wheel or whatever you have in a tank, he turns it hard pan to the left, and he swerves around this person. And it carries on, even though he lost a second or two, which is crucial, obviously. He's being pursued by an Egyptian tank. And as he carries on for another 30, 40 seconds, all of a sudden there's a tremendous explosion. He looks in the rearview mirror, the equivalent, and he turns around to see what happened. And it's clear to him that the Egyptian tank was not as kind to that Orthodox Jew, carried on in a direct line, and it just so happened to be where that Jew was standing was a mine. And the Egyptian tank was completely decimated, destroyed. A crazy thing, I mean, the craziest thing in the world. He said, when I came home after the war, he said, I was so shaken by my experiences that even though I hadn't been in my parents' house for years because of that picture on the wall, he said, I had to go home to my Abba, my Ima. So he says, you'll never believe it, Shlomo. He says, I walked into the house, and for the first time in many years, I took a look at that picture hanging right by the door when you walk in. And he said, that face of my great-great-grandfather, that was the face of that Jew in the Sinai desert. Talis and tefillin. That was my Zayda. Who came back to save me, to wink at me a little bit, save my life. So this is Gam Ki Elech B'Geit Salmavis, you know. Even in the valley of the shadow of death, Lo Irara Ki Ati Imani. In those moments, mortal moments, life or death, God becomes very, very real. And God has all kinds of messengers, all kinds of angels. Okay, this is the month of returning. This is the month of return. One of Rav Kook's primary Sfarim, one of his primary works, is Orot HaTshuva, Oros HaTshuva. And one of Rav Kook's main revolutionary ideas that he presents in that Sefer is that Tshuva actually doesn't just mean returning to God. Tshuva actually, in the deepest, deepest sense, and it goes in line with what we said earlier, means to return to ourselves. To return to our deepest, highest, most ideal self, to who we actually are. This is what Tshuva means. Tshuva is not some distortion, like a strange thing. Comes Elul, we have to twist ourselves into an unnatural shape just for a little bit until, we can pass through the judgment, and then we carry on with our lives. That's not what it is at all. Tshuva is the healthiest, most natural movement of the soul. It's the sweetest moment in our life. When we stand on Yom Kippur, we stand at Ne'ilah. Those closing moments, the culmination of everything we're doing now during Elul, Rosh Hashanah, the Aseret Shnei Tshuva, leading up to Yom Kippur, and then Yom Kippur culminating in those moments at Ne'ilah. Everybody here knows what those moments feel like. Perfectly pure, screaming out, Hashem Elokim, Hashem Elokim. There's no nature, everything is God, everything. There's no breath without God, there's no life without God. There's nothing without Him. Ein od milvad, there's nothing else, there's nothing else. So yeah, there's a part of us that's thinking, I can't wait to see what they're going to serve, to break the fast, margalachs and cake, and we're thinking about the oranges. There's a part of us that's like that. But the true essence of what we are is totally present in that moment, and if it had the choice, it would never, ever, ever let go of those moments. It would never leave Yom Kippur. It would just stay right there. Because that's what we really want. And these Yemei Ratzon, these days of desire, just want to be close to you. I just want to know that I'm living my life in a real way, that I'm doing what I was sent to this planet to accomplish. I just want to know that I matter. But like really matter with a capital M. I want to be able to walk down the street knowing that I matter. So please join me with this last slow song, and then we'll sing a little bit, and then we'll dance a little bit. Okay. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Join me if you know it, very soft. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are born and reborn again. Return to who you are. Return to what you are. Return to where you are born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. return again, return again. No, never feel you're alone. Ay la la la